Thank you, Stephanie. I'm going to put this down. There's a couple of data points I might want to refer to. But yeah, as Stephanie said, I'm the last of the day. Thanks for hanging around. Hopefully I can leave you with some food for thought today. Thank you to the Cinder folks. This has been like a wonderful experience for me. I leave a newborn and two young kids who I haven't been away from for a couple of years. So thank you for giving me a break. I suppose what's worthwhile, given the journey that Microsoft Advertising have been on over the last few years, it's worth me giving an introduction a reintroduction to some of you to Microsoft Advertising, who we are, what we're doing, and how we're working with partners to access the small and mid-size market. By way of an introduction, I've been a friend of Cinder for a while. I have joined many of these, and this is the one that I've loved the most. And the reason being is after a couple of years kind of away from coming to Cinder, I returned this year as an example of an entrepreneur, if you like, but not myself, on behalf of my wife. And over the last couple of days, I've been consuming it from a Microsoft perspective and a day job perspective, but at the same time, and like a lot of you, also much more connected since the pandemic to small businesses ourselves. So it's been a great learning opportunity. Just an introduction to myself. I am currently in the channel sales business at Microsoft Advertising. I'm here representing my European team. Prior to this, I was still on the SMB side, working for the Microsoft Advertising business directly. So I take that perspective, and it's almost like in a distributed way, how can I, help our partners, our channel sales partners, learn from some of the experiences that Microsoft have had in this area. I'm going to go a bit more into a revisit, but what I would like to leave you with on this Workday consumer piece is there's a piece of work that Microsoft Advertising took on with Forrester. That's a research paper, and I'll give links at the end of this that you can kind of go away and consume yourself. But before I do that, just a reintroduction to Microsoft. Before I go into the data, just a quick show of hands who's working with Microsoft. I know that there's a few already. Quick show of hands who's working with Microsoft Advertising today. So there's a few. And not Microsoft Advertising, who is working with Microsoft more broadly. Okay, so we've got a good mix. Microsoft Advertising, like I said, the last couple of years have been, I would say, in my 20 years in this industry, the most exciting time I've ever had in any role, just to be in the environment, and that's while working from home. And I think that's got a lot to do with the rise of small businesses and how Microsoft have geared their focus towards focusing on small businesses. For me, it's very purposeful. I kind of like the little person and the rising up of small businesses and equipping them to compete with the larger businesses. But since you were gone, sort of thing, we are now a reach of 1 billion people globally. I'm going to talk about some of the numbers there. We're 96 countries and 19 languages as of this year. My next slide kind of goes into that a bit more deeply. We're growing faster than Google from an advertising business on a like-for-like basis. That's really important, and for us, from a business point of view, that shows this is going to continue because all of that growth is coming from small businesses and the new kind of startup environment that we're seeing globally. We serve over 500,000 advertisers, and we've got a ton of partners globally. In terms of reach and opportunity, I've spoken to several people over the last few days and last couple of days, and you've been based kind of all over Europe. I will make sure that everyone kind of gets their hands on the full kind of global numbers here, but just some of these kind of key market shares, they're not small, and they're not small anymore. They're only going to grow, and I'm going to talk you through some of that. That billion people, at the moment, primarily is around the Microsoft ecosystem. There are a couple of acquisitions that you can read about in the press pending that will enhance that even further, perhaps over the coming months and years, not just on a Microsoft Advertising basis, but also on a wider Microsoft basis, and it's a really exciting time to be around. We primarily offer ad solutions through the search network and the fast-growing audience network solution as well. I won't go too deeply into the audience network today, but if you are a partner working with Microsoft and you're not leveraging that, it's a superb opportunity to kind of deeply engage those small businesses in a more efficient way to combine the power of search and audience. We have a ton of unique products. Just now, Mark from Matchcraft was talking about the value that his customers are seeing from auto inventory ads, which is unique to Microsoft. You can also, using the Microsoft Audience Network, you can also target LinkedIn profiles, which isn't available on any other graph online through search. So we're doing interesting stuff. What does that mean on a global scale? The reason, to summarize this, the reason why it's so exciting for me globally, for me over the last couple of years, is it's been the largest investment in growing to parity with our competitors. And if you think more broadly, Microsoft has access to all of the markets that Windows operates in. So we are 96 markets today. But what I want to draw your attention to is the investment that's been made in this in a little over a year. So that's a 3x growth where you can buy ads in what markets. And the plan is to get to 156 markets by August. I don't know about you. I didn't know how many countries there were in the world. That's pretty good scale. 39 languages. Again, I only know the one myself. So you're all representing a little bit better than me. And there is apparently 39 unique languages there as well. We can help you. If you're looking to explore this opportunity for you from a channel point of view, we can help you explore this. Our teams can help you understand how many searches, what the volume opportunities are in certain markets. If you operate in a specific region, like the Nordics or Central Eastern Europe, we can help you go deeper onto some of the verticals there as well. So tons of opportunity. We're already working with a few partners in some of these new regions already. They're already seeing some great results from their clients. This is a good example of one of those markets. This is Poland. This is an advertiser who was itching to get live on that new market as soon as it was available. Now, I won't say or stand here and promise that this return on ad spend for an advertiser is going to be guaranteed. But I've been in this industry for about 20 years, and at one point in time, there was a bit of a gold rush on the penny auction and all of that kind of really efficient traffic. We're seeing a wave of activity on our international markets that's almost comparable to that. So there are some markets which we are just growing in. We're very new in. Obviously, in August, there's a ton of new markets coming. That return on ad spend is significant, and the opportunity is timely now. So with that, I'm going to stick around, have a chat afterwards, but one of the pieces I wanted to talk to you about is this research piece that Microsoft Advertising and Forrester have put together over the last few months. I'm going to refer to some of the data points, but this was over 5,000 respondents and over 1,300 ad professionals were part of this survey. And the only criteria were that they had made an online purchase on a PC over the last 6 months and that they were an adult, 18 plus. Workday consumer is a term that we have coined because it's an entirely new consumer behavior that's been born out of the pandemic and we think is here to stay. So prior to the pandemic, about 14% of the workforce were remote. At the height of the pandemic, 68% or 2/3 of the workforce were considered remote. And now we believe that will peter out to about 50% of the workforce are remote. This research piece has been about understanding the behaviors more, and from an advertising point of view, doing better on targeting them. One of the points here, spoiler alert, one of the points here is there isn't a ton of people doing this exceptionally well, either for themselves as a brand or for their customers. And we think there's a ton of opportunity and efficiency to go after by doing this well or representing a subset of advertisers and doing this well. The insight number one from this, there's three core pieces, and the one takeaway I would say I'd love to leave you with on time, hopefully. The one insight I would say is there is an opportunity to do this better than everyone else, because a lot of advertisers, agencies, partners are still tackling this industry and this medium or this set of media in the same way that they were doing pre-pandemic, but the behavior has massively shifted. Show of hands, has anybody made a purchase during their working day using their work computer? I expect most people who haven't need a bit convincing that they have. Our research showed that 2/3 of people do this, and 2/3 of people consider this of equal importance. So, from my point of view, there's a ton of different things that play out during my working day. I might get a message from my wife that says a baby needs this, and I purchase it there and then. Whereas before, in an office environment, I was clocking on, switching on, I'm consuming multiple different devices and actually demonstrating much more fluid and instinctive behavior. 63% of people surveyed said that they spent more time on their work PC during the pandemic. This is particularly important. We are a dominant PC network. We have greater efficiencies in some of our volume and value that we offer to advertisers. This is particularly pertinent for us as a platform. What are they searching for? What are they doing? What are they finding more comfortable? 62% of people say they regularly research or purchase products and services during their work time. Some of them aren't so or a little bit more obvious than others. So, when you're searching for travel, for me personally, I need downtime. I need to really focus, compare different things. Some of the screen real estate for some of these categories, we're given an opportunity. So in the old world, or the pre-pandemic world, we think really arbitrarily about a device. So I've got an iPad, this is what I can do on the iPad, or any other tablet. This is my phone, this is what I can do in this real estate, and this is the behavior that I'm used to. Being able to multitask at the same time and fluidly switch between work and personal, it allows this opportunity and this type of research behavior. From a purchase standpoint, so where is the value at the bottom of the funnel? There are a ton of different categories that would explore and demonstrate why. The key point here at the bottom of the slide is this behavior. It's here to stay. So we have this sort of shift, and then there's kind of before and after. And what we believe is that we are going to continue to see less of a device focus and more of a fluid consumer behavior focus. It makes things more difficult for us as advertisers. It makes more difficult for us as an ecosystem to service that. But it certainly makes us more valuable as an ecosystem to be able to tell our customers, whether in our user interfaces or whether as research pieces, that we recognize that consumers do things new in a more intuitive way between work and play. This piece of insight, I'm not gonna use some of the language here that was sort of standardly supplied by my marketing team ahead of this. But really, what we're saying here is that people aren't doing this well. There isn't an advertiser that can say, yeah, we represent totally the new consumer. What we're seeing across most of our advertiser base, and also some of the direct enterprise larger clients that do their marketing for themselves or via an agency, most people are still exerting the same behaviors as they were pre-pandemic. So very funnel-led, very arbitrary persona-led, but they're not really seeing this kind of fluidity between work and play. It's important because it's an opportunity, and it's not necessarily an opportunity for volume, overnight, but it's certainly an opportunity for value. Like I said, through your interfaces, if you're a channel partner or a distribution partner, or through research papers, and recognizing that 5,000 respondents who have exerted this behavior and believe that that's there to stay. There is a business advantage, a tangible business advantage to be had there. With that, I promise 15 minutes. With that, you can get the full report. It's really interesting. There's a couple of other insights in there at this address here. We also have a newsletter that you as partners can access. A ton of new learnings. We share a really interesting short video every month called The Download. It's about 7 or 8 minutes, but it kind of tells you all you need to know, kind of presents some of these case studies and some of the pieces that we are working on and that we're seeing from our clients and partners. Thank you. I won't leave that one there. Very detailed. I'm sticking around. I'd love to hear from you. Where are you on your journey? What are you doing? How can we help you? Thank you again to Kimberly, to Stephanie. I appreciate it. And yeah, have a great evening tonight.
For questions. I have one question, Simon. We're seeing these trends, okay? Endpoint security, okay? I mean, that's a scary thing for these companies with these trends of my work computer. How is Microsoft approaching that? Kind of
Sorry, could you
endpoint security, because people are using their work computers for private work.
Yeah, it's a really good point, and even from Microsoft takes security and privacy very seriously, and it's kind of baked into all of our products. I have personally seen an increase in those authentication tools and multi-factor tools as an employee of Microsoft. From our point, I don't think Microsoft see that as a core responsibility. I think we're just sort of discovering this. But as this is an evolving piece, I think that will then become more important to companies who are, if this is representative of 60% of the entire workforce, this is something that needs to be addressed.
Yeah.
So yes, an opportunity, but totally valid and see that.
Yeah. Okay. Questions? Okay. You're joining us for dinner tonight?
I will.
Okay, good. So we'll have time to talk to you. Thank you for taking this keynote at the end of the day slot after 2 days, and look forward to having some time with you this evening.
Thank you.
Okay,
Thanks for
take
hanging
care.
around. Appreciate it.